How to get a man to spend money on you. Hello, my name is Chengi, and you, my precious one, of course, are my world. Welcome here to Chengi'S world, where I teach you ladies how to present as a high value, high status, high worth woman that high quality and high value men find completely irresistible. If that's you and that's what you're after, by all means, just sit around and wait for this video. Now, ladies, you know that I am a high value woman coach. High valueness has become synonymous with Chengi. The truth of the matter is there's no way to legitimately and authentically win in the game of love and truly find resonance with a counterpart, with somebody that we love, with a man that we adore, unless we show up authentically. And sometimes we want to show up authentically, but we don't know how to do it in such a way that we are not misunderstood. And misunderstanding seems to be the order of the day in the 21st century. So I'm gonna try and break this down for you so that you can see the nuance. Now, the answer to the question, how do I get a man to spend money on me, already indicates that you have some low value mindsets going on in your background. Now, am I talking about, anybody that follows my channel knows that I believe strongly that a man must provide, protect, and cherish for him to even begin to be considered for the title of high value. So I have zero issues with women having an expectation, if you like, that the man that they're going to choose is going to be a willing, giving, masculine man, and that is completely fine as long as she plays fair and shows up as the respectful, feminine woman. Now, let's talk about why that sentiment in itself is low value. Why is it that I said that question is low value? Now, a high value woman is not somebody that wants a man to spend on her. She wants a man to invest in her. Okay, Chengi, what the hell is the difference? What is the difference between a man spending money on me or investing money? Isn't that just a different word for getting a man to give me what I want, or spoil me, or treat me good? You know, are you just playing with words? No, absolutely not. Let's talk about spending. We spend, the idea of spending as usually we spend in two ways, but more or less we spend on things that we use, that we're spending time doing, things that we want in our lives. But the things that we are spending money for in our lives don't necessarily have to be things of high value or high worth, or even things that bring high status into our lives. We can spend on perishables, food. We can spend on things that are not even necessarily expensive, or that are not going to necessarily last us, or things that we're not necessarily invested in. And so a lot of our spending is really a cost. It's a cost on our ledger. So you've got your liabilities and you've got your assets, and you know, we have day-to-day costs. We have our car running costs, fuel, we've got electricity, we've got water, we've got utilities, we have if you've got children, you've got the cost of uniforms or whatever it is. We have a whole column full of outgoings, costs that will never ever change, and we understand that we have to spend money on our costs in order for us to have use of the facilities that we have, to have use of the things that we want. So we don't really have a problem with cost. We understand its place, we understand its value, but in truth, we're not trying to create a relationship with our costs. We're not trying to create a relationship with the place where we buy our fuel, or relationship with no relationship is necessary. It is transactional. I give you my money, you give me what I need, we move on, and there is no need for longevity, for planning, for understanding, for study. But when we invest, we really study that thing that we're investing. And we never ever 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 invest in things that depreciate in value. We invest in things that appreciate in value, and therefore we have what we call assets. We invest in assets, and an asset is something that appreciates in value, something that is going to be worth more to us tomorrow than it is right now, because its value is inherent and its value grows with time. Okay, so we spend time learning how to invest in gold, in silver, in precious metals, in precious stones, in stocks and bonds and forex and all these things that and property. Things that we invest in, we put our heart in, we put our minds in, we make sure we understand, we keep an eye on it, we take really good care of it, we build a relationship with it, we want to know how it's doing, we keep our eye on it. It is in our best interest to make sure that we keep an eye on our assets and keep them in mint condition and keep them in a position where they're appreciating in value. If we need to move them, if we need to spend more money to make sure that they're safer, have greater security, we are building a relationship with an asset. And we don't build relationships with liability. With liabilities and with costs, we have a residual resentment towards them. We all want to live in a tax-free world. We all want to live in a world where water is free and the utilities are free and we're free and we enjoy all of these things. We know it's not practical, but we do have a subtle resentment for the constant going out of money, of the things that we use, that really don't give anything back in return except using them in that moment, right? And we have a love and a growing appreciation for the things that we are investing in. We have a growing appreciation, and we take good care of the things that we are invested in. And that is the same with a man. A woman, a low value woman, is a cost. She is the woman who wants him to spend money. She's always asking for things, looking for ways to swindle, maneuver, manipulate, connive, lies. You know, I have had people that I know who are friends of mine who, not friends of mine, but colleagues who have a part-time job of getting money off men. I know there are channels where women teach other women how they can clear a certain income from a relationship with a man. That is what I call gold digging, and there's a video on my channel called the gold digger versus the hypergamous woman, right? I believe hypergamy is high value, gold digging is a very, very low value. And so we've created this world, and maybe you tapped on this video thinking, ooh, Chengi's gonna give me some tips. Okay, how do you therefore know that a man, if he is spending, that he is spending investing or spending towards a cost? You know that by whether he gives freely from within himself. You see, it's really important for a high value woman to not waste her time with men that are not invested, men that don't have long-term plans for them, right? So a high value woman is only interested in a man that has a long-term plan for her, who has a long-term plan for that relationship. And she's not going to know it unless she presents and shows up as the asset that she's perpetually becoming. Every day, every year, she is growing, she is learning, she's evolving, she's coming through better, healthier, fitter. She's always on the progression line. She's always appreciating in value. And so she always presents herself as an asset to a man. She shows up as the asset, great company, feminine, passive, patient, vulnerable, respectful. She shows up in her glory as a powerful, feminine, high value woman. And then she allows him to show her how he sees her, how he values her, how he perceives her. And I will tell you this, Whenever a woman shows up as her highest value self, she compels a masculine high value man to invest. He naturally is compelled to invest. Okay, so Chengi, what are you talking about? I'll give you an example. When I date high value men, which are the only men I date since I recovered from being a low value, I have found that men will, come into my life, and, I had a boyfriend, somebody that I was in a relationship, and I used to drive this car, and he didn't think that it was the kind of car that his woman should be driving. As far as he was concerned, a girl like you shouldn't be driving a car like that. There was nothing wrong with it. It was just an average car. It wasn't luxury, it wasn't high end, but I loved it and I appreciated it. And he just simply started sending me pictures of these sort of high end luxury vehicles. And he was like, which one do you like, babe? And I was like, this, eventually I chose one. And hey presto, one afternoon he said, okay, let's go pick up your car. Okay, we went and picked up my car, and I was like, oh, okay. He literally upgraded my car. I've had, there were times when I was a single mom struggling to make it, and I had this broken down, beat up car that was rusty. And, I was dating somebody at the time, and he did the same thing. He was sending me pictures of cars. He didn't have as much resources as the other guy, but he was sending me pictures of cars, and I was thinking, why does he keep sending me pictures of convertibles and nice cars? And it was like, because we need to replace your car, right? It's not because I asked. It's not because I was ashamed of what I had. I was proud of what I had. I'm always proud of what I have, because guess what? I gave it to me. I worked hard and I gave it to me. It might not be fancy, might not be amazing, but guess what? It's what I could do for me, and it's the best I could do for me, and I invest in me to the best that I can. And if I am in my best, living my best, I never ever ever hold my head down. And so when you're a high value woman, you don't come through as needy. I need you to look after me, otherwise I can't pay my bills. Of course, a man can see how he can improve your life, how he can make it better. We have to understand that masculine men live to make their feminine happy. That is their number one quest. They work hard. They do everything they do because they want to meet a woman and put a smile on her face and make her happy. That is the primary motivation of the masculine male, is to keep his woman happy, because a happy woman is a happy man. He has come to understand that. So it's never going to be a thing, because when a man sees you as an asset and he sees you as valuable, he will naturally want to invest not only money, but time, attention. He will want to invest. It's not something that you're gonna have to beat him over the head with a stick. You don't have to beg or give innuendos. I have had the most men in my life just love to spoil me. They love to spoil me. I've had the pretty woman experience where I had an opportunity, I was sort of going out, I was dating someone, and, he wanted me to come and see him in the city that he was in at the time. I flew over, and he paid for my hotel, and he paid for everything, and he did all of these things. And he wanted to go out that night, and I hadn't packed anything for an evening because I was kind of passing by to go somewhere else. And I really hadn't packed anything for an evening. So I was like, ooh, I'd love to go out, but I don't have anything to wear. So he said, okay, no worries. And we drove over to a shopping mall, and we got into this really exquisite boutique that was really lovely and really well put together. And I walked in, and he said, okay, we need something for this young lady to wear for a special evening. And I just sort of went over, and I just thought, oh, this was quite nice, I'll try this one. It was really just to indulge him. And I put it on, it looked lovely. I came out, I did the twirling, the pretty woman thing, and he had the lady bring out more dresses. He was like, oh, I love that one, put that one on the side. And I tried more dresses, and it was like, right, we need shoes, and we need this and the other. And I had no idea how expensive it was, but he was just like, okay, which ones do you like? I was like, well, I like this one and this one and this one. It's like, okay, we'll take that one, and we'll take these shoes, and we'll take that bag, and I was like, I left there thinking, oh my God, Did I get ambushed into this? But none of these men ever required me to do anything for them in exchange. They just knew that investing in me was investing in themselves, was appreciating something of value, was appreciating something that would potentially come into their lives permanently and become an asset. Now, those relationships didn't work, but those relationships were not something I gave the sacred in exchange. Because sometimes when you become a cost, when a man is spending on you, he wants to use you. That's what we do with costs. We use the things that we spend money on, that are cost. We use them. He is not going to just want to just spend money on you. If it had been that these men were not investing, and mainly really in themselves, he wanted to go out with a woman that looked pretty and stunning, who was dressed appropriately, so it was nothing but chicken change for him to be able to do that. For me, he wasn't broke. He bought the car. He didn't want his girlfriend showing up at events or wherever he's at with his friends in a car that didn't represent his world. So these men were investing in themselves, and they didn't require anything in return. I didn't have to give over anything to them that I was not ready to give. But when a man is spending on you, you are under pressure to part with something sacred, whether it's your body or time or activity that you would rather not, because he wants something in exchange right now, this moment, for what he's giving you. Now, Chengi, how do I know when he's investing or spending? It's simple. When a man is investing, you didn't have to ask. You didn't have to maneuver. You didn't have to engineer. You didn't have to be clever. You didn't even think you needed it. He has seen it. He wants to give it to you. He thinks you deserve diamond rings, diamond earrings. He believes you deserve, exquisite gifts. And he believes that he wants to do these things for you. That's coming from his heart, from his perception of you. Like, this is the value of this woman, and I just want to invest in her. You will always feel like it doesn't come with a price tag. The energy behind investment is that it doesn't come with a price tag, but the only thing he wants in return is an opportunity to keep you long term and to reap the return on investment when the relationship matures to that point, whatever point you decide that point is. Whether, this is a man who is looking for a long-term investment. It's a man who's prepared to put in, not for something he will get in this moment, but something that he will get for a lifetime, right? So you want that guy. You, as a high value woman, want a man who is invested, who is investing in the relationship, in you. You don't want a man who is spending, and then forcing and pushing and manipulating you to give back in return something that you are not ready to give. So the solution here, ladies, is to grow yourself, grow your money, grow your life. You have the power to be anything you want to be, and appreciate where you are. Men have been doing these things for me even before I had a penny to my name, when I was struggling to put food on the table. Do these things for me because I did it with dignity. I did it with honor. Whatever I had, I valued it. I was thankful to God for it. Whatever home I had, it was always clean and tidy. I remember a time when my home was just full of secondhand furniture because it was donations from other people, but I would sand it down and I would paint it, and I would take the seats off the chairs and remove the covers and buy some fabric and staple new fabric on, and I would renovate my own furniture, and just my whole home was just people giving me stuff for free, but I always treated everything I had. My home was always immaculate. And when you come into a high value woman's life, a man can see that she doesn't have very much money, but she respects herself and she respects her life and she respects what she's creating. And I want to be there to invest in this kind of woman, because if she can do this with little, how much can she do if she was a part of my life permanently? How much can she do and be when we are an us, when we create an us? And so I am not saying that it's okay for a man not to spend money on you, but I'm saying that what a high value woman wants is for a man to give from the abundance of his heart. I hope that this video was really helpful. For those of you who have not yet joined the mentoring club, please do, where we will have more of these conversations, delve deeper into these conversations, and I can really teach you the nuances. If there's some tools that you want on feminine mastery, please visit my website, chengi'sworld.co.uk/shop. You can book any of my coaches or myself and download some amazing tools to help you become the high value woman that I know you are. In the meantime, my darling, take care of you. Love you lots. Mwah.